and we're going live, and we are live, and this episode of the Matt Report is how to start a WordCamp. We're pressed for time today, so we're really going to rifle through this stuff. If you're joining live, thanks a lot. If you're listening later, hopefully by the end of this, you'll be buying your tickets and flying down to Miami, willing and ready to enjoy one of the best, if not the best, WordCamp that I've ever attended. And two of the leaders from this upcoming 2016 WordCamp, I have Ptah and David. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
I know, Ptah, you are pressed for time, so we are going to go and say, how do we start a WordCamp? Tell us how to start a WordCamp in 30 seconds. Go.
Get a bunch of like-minded people to talk about WordPress and feed them pizza and beer.
Done. See you later. Drop the mic. That's how you start a WordCamp. It's amazing. It takes a little bit more than that. We're going to try to dive into some of those details, and let me just set the stage for my own curiosity factor. I'm a guy with a couple other great co-organizers. We have our first WordPress meetup under our belts, and it'd be amazing if the south coast of Massachusetts could have its own WordCamp. But there's a ton of stuff that goes into this. Logistics, topics, getting people together, getting those like-minded people together. You guys are going on your 5-year anniversary, right, for WordCamp? 9th, 8th. I'm trying to read. David. I'm trying to read David's fingers.
Warmer.
So this is the 8th. This is the 8th year anniversary.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah, I believe that's iron.
So.
Iron.
So do you know the lore of how this started? Like, what sparked the very first meetup, or the very first WordCamp?
I believe the first WordCamp, at least in Miami, as far as I can recall, was the combination. It wasn't even its own WordCamp. It was a combination of BarCamp and WordPress. WordCamp had a room inside of the BarCamp, conference. So it wasn't even its own thing, and we eventually branched off the next year. But that's initially how we started off.
That's amazing. And, 8 years into it, I went to the one, I think, 2 years ago, roughly, and it was awesome. Had a great time. The level of commitment, I think, is the best word that I have right now. I think the level of commitment that your planning team puts together or is committed to put this WordCamp together is just truly amazing, right? Like, I wasn't sure if I was filing my taxes or if I was submitting my speaker's submission, but that's a good thing, right? You guys put so much thought into that. Why is that? Like, why do you put so much emphasis on who you bring in and what those topics are?
At the end of the day, we want to make sure that, when I go reach out to various attendees throughout the WordCamp, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, I ask them, like, I ask for feedback. I ask them, what's the most thing that you'd like to, get from WordCamp? What are you looking for? Like, are you new to WordPress? Where you'd like to go? I ask them all these sorts of questions, and it really just comes down to that, like that bringing that influence of diversity of content and putting them in a room where they've never spoken to those types of professionals before, and just striking those candid, conversations with experts in the field who know what they're talking about, and they can get fast responses, whereas before it would have taken, they wouldn't have even been able to have that relationship. So I think that is that connection that we provide is one of the biggest things that help us kind of bring them back every year.
One of the things that sort of the 1% of WordPress folks sort of struggle with, and especially folks who go to a lot of WordCamps, start to get drained on the WordCamp track, right? It's the same speakers, the same topics. What do you guys do differently? And I think I might know the answer to that. This year, I think your theme might be sort of the JavaScript thing because of the stuff that came out of State of the Word. But over the years, how have you guys sort of strategized around that sort of fatigue of a WordCamp?
Well, I think I've been involved a lot with the speaker selections and stuff like that. I think we know what it's like to go to multiple WordCamps, and Ptah and myself probably spend more time in the hallways than we do in the rooms, and to some level you really can't get away from that because the WordCamps, you want them to be for the local community, and a lot of those people don't have the chance to go to the WordCamp, so it's still kind of new to them. But to keep things fresh, I think for the last couple of years we have kept trying different formats. Like there's a certain expectation of structure of like how a WordCamp is supposed to work. You don't want to make it too radically different, at least not we don't anyway. What we have works. But like I think last year we used to have a user track, but we kind of threw that out. We did a dedicated how-to track, so like how to like do your SEO, how to do this, and then people provided like worksheets and stuff like that for that particular track for the people that were there. And the JavaScript thing this year, which as soon as, I think hopefully starts a trend for the rest of the WordCamps. I hope to see more WordCamps have a learn JavaScript deeply track. I think ours, like under the circumstances when Matt announced that we were just wrapping up speaker selections for Miami. So ours is existing, and hopefully people will take that concept and polish it. But we try to do something a little bit different every year to, bring a little more refreshment to it.
And we also get feedback throughout the year at regular meetups, so we can kind of gauge interest in like new speakers on the rising in the local community that we can promote and bring up towards a larger audience. So we try to keep an eye out for just new talent and just keep doing what works.
And we steal ideas.
We're all pirates.
Right. We steal. Isn't that what artists are doing? Isn't that like the catchphrase for all artists, right? Steal ideas. What's the biggest challenge in putting a WordCamp together? Can you target it to one thing? Was there a particular challenge this year that you guys overcame or are still faced with today? Either one of you can take this. Either one of you. Unless it's so easy that there are no challenges.
I mean, David and I have been knocking this out for the past 8 years. Even when I haven't been in the country or the continent, I would find a way to make it back to WordCamp for that month to help out. Or, and even before with email. So, challenges, like last year we had a large challenge with, with the size of WordCamp growing. Our organizational team needed to be more on point in terms of who to go to for feedback, how to direct, and do traffic control, and just knowing, because a lot of things changed last minute, and so just making sure that the volunteers all kind of knew who to go to for information, how to direct traffic. I think that was one of the challenging things that we would like to overcome for this year.
Do we have an attendance count that you're shooting for this year?
We moved the date up, so I think it's earlier. It seems like last WordCamp just happened in May. I think we're still shooting for the same general, like 600 to 700 count this year.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great.
At least in ticket sales and stuff like that. I think anything above. For us, I think for Ptah myself, anything above 500 is acceptable. I think there's, it shows that it could fluctuate. It does fluctuate year to year, but once we reach that number and above, it just confirms again that there's a strong WordPress community here, in terms of things, and it gets harder and harder every year to schedule these things that doesn't hit some sort of other event happening. But
yeah, the rise of the Miami tech scene, which is out of the WordPress ecosystem, which plays a larger part of Miami, has been rising, and I think that'll play a contributing factor towards more people being interested in what's going on here and wanting to take that weekend to learn more about it. So I'm looking forward to reaching out to more of that to that audience, let them know that WordPress can do a lot for companies, small businesses, startups, and they should definitely check it out.
And we've invited more. We've actually done our kids, or have expanded our kids family-friendly type of message, so kids can get in free. And we're even giving them their own swag bags with their own coloring books. So I think the adults will steal them, and we're giving them special treats and stuff like that, along with workshops and their own. We're actually giving them more than one session this year to try to get So if anybody can't come because they don't want to bring their kids, they think it's like one of these normal tech conferences, then we're hoping to provide a better image than that, but not better, but bigger image than we were in the previous years. Previous years they were bringing the kids in, so now we're just giving them a bag and a toy to play with.
Right.
It's a WordPress Happy Meal.
It's
a Happy Meal.
Just gonna say
happiness meal. Oh my God! Oh, it's coming. It's coming to me now. I'm birthing it. Oh, there we go. All right.
So, So I want to kind of talk about that. This is pretty amazing, right? So kudos, hats off to you folks to sort of introduce a new layer of community to WordCamp, right? So it's not only our folks like you and I and people listening to this who are going to go down there and learn our WordPress ways, but now you are sort of reaching out to folks who probably don't know what WordPress is, but maybe they're going just to bring their child to learn technology, right, and get kind of exposed to this kind of either open source community or just technology in general. So that's amazing. Good job. Where do you see WordCamps really giving back and just being something totally different than another WordPress meetup just to go learn WordPress? Like, do you think other WordCamps are going to follow suit? Are there other avenues to this for like nonprofits to come and learn different things or experience different things? I don't really know how to phrase it because it doesn't really happen right now, but things like giving back to children and so on. Do you see that going more?
I hope so. I think I've started to see it. Like I saw the WordCamp for Kids in Phoenix a couple of years ago, and that's where we got it from. So we weren't the first, and I think I'm seeing in more Tampa and Orlando, the more kids things are happening over there. So I definitely think it's spreading.
Yeah, and I definitely wouldn't. I think over the years, WordCamps is definitely it's matured and formalized in terms of what it is and what it's going after in terms of its audience and its foundation of like, all right, we're GPL based. This is our boundaries of what we want to focus on. So there's that constraint, which is good for creativity. So kids fall into that play. But I'm wondering what else is next to kind of like provide that next element of making like WordCamps new and fun again. Versus an alternative camp.
Yeah, I'd love to see WordCamps as, at least in my opinion, in my part of the country, a way for folks to come and learn the skill of using WordPress to start their own careers, like we all did.
So, what do you think more about like more in-depth workshops? Like, so taking that more seriously, it seems like that seems to be more of a trend coming recently with the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if there's some educational structure for folks who don't have jobs and are seeking jobs, and on one hand they're willing to learn new things like this, hands down, I think that the stuff that organizers like you and even small time people like me who just had their first WordPress meetup can really start to push that kind of movement. I think that would be tremendous.
Yeah, and so in a sense, WordPress could have a direct correlation towards like the job market in that local area.
Absolutely, yeah.
With more training content provided from speakers. That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've already taken a small step in that this year that we've gone out to the local coding schools, and it's been a small partnership in terms of help us get the word out and everything. But I think that's going to be a start there as well. So we're not just looking for other WordPress, agencies in the area or freelancers, but we're going to general coding schools. They may not do WordPress necessarily, but they're doing HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and and I think Ptah agrees too that moving on beyond this year, that we can actually use them to encompassing these parts in these areas that may not be directly WordPress related, but are still good, like for everybody, like the JavaScript stuff, for example. Because South Florida does not get. South Florida has a big tech community, but for this price and for this type of subjects, it's a rare thing to happen annually for a WordCamp like that.
Are doing, I've noticed, and again, I think this has a lot to do with, like you mentioned, Miami's tech scene sort of on the rise, is you're really creating bridges and crossing those bridges into other open source projects. I think like Joomla Day, there was some, you at least tweeted it, so that was a friendly gesture. But I mean, what else is going on in that space? I think you have a PHP conference that you kind of bleed into a little bit maybe, and
so
Buddy Press stuff.
Adam Culp, he's the lead organizer for Sunshine PHP, which is also taking place in February. Great conference. I was there a few years ago, and they bring in like the home hitters in the PHP community and the greater PHP community, like Kyle Evans, which is a great guy. But I think even in terms of like the boot camps, like Iron Hack, Wing Code, the Idea Center at Miami College with Launch Code, there's all these programs spawning up that there's definitely elements of PHP and WordPress that are going to be introduced because that's what the market is demanding in a sense. Like it's easier to start, projects in a company or at a corporation with like these sort of like plugins and systems that already work. Like people get it. There's nothing to learn in WordPress administration wise. It's more so plugins and customization in the larger ecosystem.
And we care really much about the next generation too, even those that are not going to coding schools yet. Those are still in high school or even younger. That's why we're doing a kids panel on Sunday and why we're bringing the kids in, because the WordPress has a tremendous lead now, but we want that mind share to be in that next generation because those are the people that are that want to learn these things, that are going to the coding schools and asking about WordPress. And we want this to be something that we're going to be carrying on to the next generation. I think that JavaScript's going to have a lot to do with that. So
great sort of marketing strategy too, because as we probably all, I think my first CMS was like Post Nuke or PHP Nuke, whatever it was called, right? And you're kind of learning these CMSs as you go. So maybe somebody's out there and they're using Joomla now, but maybe eventually they say, I want to sort of level up and go to WordPress, or maybe I just don't want to use Joomla anymore and I just want to go to WordPress. So it's kind of good to have good standing and not just sit there and say my CMS is better than your CMS.
We actually have some Joomla people coming down.
Yeah.
We actually, and sadly enough, we had a Joomla person lined up to speak, but she had to bow out. So the Joomla conference actually moved their date for us, which was amazing.
Wow.
And so there's a lot, and it's.
Imagine that happening in like politics, right? Oh, Republicans, you need. Oh, yeah. No problem. We'll just push this down. We'll just push this to the side. I would never.
No, we have something. We have something to learn from
Right.
everybody. Like we have something to learn from everybody, and so I'm really looking forward. I'm actually speaking at the Sunshine PHP conference, so I'm the guy who's in the front row and like Drupal sessions and everything, soaking it in.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're winding down with Ptah's time. So Ptah, what's the one thing that you're looking forward to at this upcoming WordCamp?
I really want to see that embracement of JavaScript at WordCamp. I know we only have it for Sunday, and I don't want it to take over the entire WordCamp, but we've reserved some space with a lot of talented folks, who are experts in their field. They already know. They're going to be able to like guide you into like getting into JavaScript, or if you're already an expert. Like I came back to JavaScript from Flash. I used to write ActionScript 2.0. And so like I avoided JavaScript because of pop-up days, and then I came back to it with like this apprehension, and then I grabbed on the jQuery and moved off from there. But it's like you really have to reapproach people and like let them know that JavaScript is okay, even though it can be disabled, and all sorts of things. Like everyone has their own set of beliefs that they just need to like approach JavaScript in this new manner because it's really powering the web today. And so I'm really looking forward to getting a lot of feedback from what people think from the speakers and just the hallway track.
What can Dave do better next year? No, just kidding.
Many things.
I'm beginning to see now why.
So many things.
Why I was allowed to come on.
Dave, what are you looking forward to this upcoming WordCamp?
I agree with Ptah a lot. I want to see. I want to see some. I would like to see the trends that we've started or put to the forward this year just be continued on to other camps, because I think I'm looking at a much grander scheme of things in terms of not just Miami but WordPress in general. But I just want a smoothly run conference. That's all I want. Everybody behaves themselves. Everybody enjoys the food. Oh my God, the food! I think people come down just for the food. So hopefully we're not gonna just not disappointing anybody is my goal. This is like it's like if this has worked for my marriage, it should work for an 800-person WordCamp.
Right. I was going to ask something along those lines. Is it like setting up a wedding where you're going around taste testing food and picking a vendor? Like, do you spend time doing that?
Not anymore. Although I wish.
You know what? I don't.
Like my doctor says, I've had to stop.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
It's funny. I actually just finished building a wedding registry website, based in WordPress, for a company in Mexico. So it's like that literally just happened like 2 weeks ago. So we just delivered it, and they're happy. So
Nice. That's awesome. Any surprises? Anything you can kind of hint at what people might see at the upcoming WordCamp that you want to tease? So hopefully somebody press that buy button today.
I will let David.
No. If you like the yellow Wapuu character, and you're a collector of it, I think WordCamp's going to be something that you want to come to, because we've actually been working with, and forgive me that I don't remember the names, the individuals over in China. Is it China? Where it started from?
Oh, I thought it was Japan.
Okay, it could be Japan. I'm sorry. I have relatives in China, so I transfix them. But so we've actually been, because it's the 5th anniversary, right on WordCamp weekend. It just happened to coincide. So we've got a couple of interesting things planned for that. We also are possibly we're working on some interactive items for our after party this year. See if that comes to fruition.
Interactive. I love the keywords.
I don't want to promise anything because we change our minds sometimes at the last minute according to what's.
Our teams are going to come with the craziest expectations now. Where are the interactive items?
That's just going to be Syed Balki dressed up as a big Wapuu running around, and I am excited.
Whoa.
I am excited for that.
If we can get an opt-in monster costume for him, I think that would work. I'm just after. Again, I think the JavaScript thing is important to me. I think it's going to be, like I said, it'll be the start, like how kids camps or kids workshops or developer workshops started off. I think it'll start off small. It'll start off core, and then we're going to share how we did it and our thoughts behind it with other. We've already had other WordCamp organizers come up to us or come up to me and say, "What's the methodology you're using? Can we, because so I think we're laying down, or hopefully we're laying down a game plan here to be able to follow with Matt's suggestion, and hopefully in 2016 rep up the education and that sort of thing. At least in the WordCamp circle, I know there's lots of other ways people are going to learn. So
yeah, and definitely one of the highest recommendations I can give any current or potential WordCamp organizer is get a team, get at least someone that you could just go through like the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys with as you're planning WordCamps, because you're going to need that expert person that will help you just, you may not be able to make certain appointments and certain things like that. They'll be able to cover you and cover your back and like just handle certain things. I have an amazing team here at WordCamp Miami. For the entire year, we've been working on this since last May. So it's ongoing throughout the year. There's always something to do. There's always someone to contact. There's always someone to call and confirm and reconfirm. And things change all the time. So it's great to have more eyes. I definitely need more eyes on my team. So I appreciate that.
And one last technical to do on this is, how do you guys all stay connected? Slack, Google Docs, what does that look like real quick?
Well, we have a Slack channel. And in fact, our Slack channel has more than 200 people in it right now.
Wow.
I think that's the most surprising thing this year in terms of how many people have gone into Slack and talked about with other attendees. But we communicate through Slack, and we also use, obviously, Google Docs for more of the structured stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, we're battling the clock. I'm battling the sun at the co-working space on a map.
I'm battling this breakfast.
Yeah, Dave's battling his breakfast. So let's wrap it up, gentlemen. I appreciate the time that you've taken to share your thoughts about starting a WordCamp, starting the Miami WordCamp, and what that's like. Some solid advice. I'm looking forward to going down there, speaking there, and connecting with other folks. Give it your last sort of send-off if you just want to pitch where can folks find you on the web, of course, and any other sort of please buy tickets and come down.
I'll let Ptah give the general info, and then I got a few other nice little snippets.
General info? There's no general info necessary. We're going to be in Miami. It's February 19th, the best time to come, spring break season. It's going to be beautiful people.
It's not going to snow. It's not going to snow.
Don't even think about snow in your vocabulary. It's going to be a great time with a lot of geeks, a lot of fun people. and really cool areas of Miami that's not just the like South Beach area. I want to introduce you guys to some unseen areas in Miami that you may not have heard of. That's where the tech scene in Miami is really happening. So yeah, great time, and also the speakers. We're really looking forward to seeing you. And David, you had something you wanted to mention?
Yeah, we could like spend a half hour talking about all this stuff there, but I know so like, and I forget stuff that we have planned, and then I remember, oh yeah, we have that going on.
It's so true.
Like last year, we're doing the same thing as last year. We're actually setting up a video booth in the corner of the reception area, and we actually have a volunteer recording for both days. They record 3 or 4 minute videos, and then he produces them professionally a couple hours or a couple of days afterwards. So if you come down to WordCamp Miami and you want to video yourself, that is like we have that service opened up for speakers, for attendees, for everybody. And we're also coordinating with a local media group to provide live interviews in the hallways during the sessions. So we're putting together a very comprehensive.
So even if you're not speaking, definitely come with your pitches.
That's awesome.
What did you say?
I said even if you're not speaking, come with your pitches, your elevator pitch.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. All right. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of stuff going on. So food, video tapes, and everything. I'm just gonna. It was great talking with you, man.
Back and forth.
It was great talk. This is why we text. All right, Dave.
A texting relationship.
Dave, where can folks find you on the web?
Localpoliceoffice.com or something. DavidBisset.com.
That's awesome. Ptah, where can folks find you?
You can find me on PirateDunbar.com.
That's awesome. Gentlemen, thanks for the time. I hope folks learned a little something from this. Go and get your tickets. WordCamp Miami 2016. I'll be there. Some way more amazing people will be there, and it's a great time. I can't wait to get down there. Thanks, gentlemen.
Have a good one, sir.